Story 1-1. People cannot read your mind. Be clear about what you want. You cannot please everyone, and that is okay. Time heals a lot more than you think. Story 2. You should absolutely consider food, specifically sugary food, as a drug. I should watch how I eat. Story 3. I learned that I need to stop telling people my plans. People ruin things. Jealousy is a legitimate feeling. It can turn people into monsters. Work in absolute silence. Story 4. Don't care what other people think about you. It's what you think about them that matters. And the only thing you can control. Also, own your mistakes. And just as important, own your wins. Additionally, alcohol is a waste of time, money, and energy. Okay, goodbye. Story 5. I always trusted a person until I had a reason not to. Now I only trust people I have known for a long time. Story 6. Most of the time, a romantic partner will not wise up and realize that their behavior or treatment of you is a problem they need to change. Few people care enough to stop bad behaviors voluntarily, it seems. Story 7. Sometimes in life, it is okay and even advisable to give up. You can do everything right and still fail. Story 8. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Don't listen to words. Take notice of actions. If a snake bites you, you don't chase it to tell you that it was wrong to bite you. You avoid the snake. The same applies here. Avoid harmful individuals at all costs. This also goes for family. Story 9. Took until my 30s to realize the size of the gulf between what any one person says and what any other person hears. Think about this. You grew up in a family that is not like mine, went to a school that is not mine, had friends unlike mine, hobbies that are not mine, teachers, movies, cartoons, lessons that are not like mine. And even if we learned similar lessons, we learned them in different orders. But the things we learned first change the details about how we perceive things we learn later. In other words, when we communicate, we are only barely scraping by. If I say, I enjoyed boating with my family up north when I was young, you hear subtly different meanings in every word of that sentence, because your different experience paints every word with different imagery. You do not know what kind of boat, what kind of family, what kind of enjoyment, what kind of up north, what kind of body of water, what kind of young. This is the source of every disagreement. Words are symbolic, and their meanings are only very superficially agreed upon. To some, boating up north means icy water, while to others it means the Caribbean. So I am learning to stop at each disagreement and take a magnifying glass to the things we might not know we are not on the same page about. Story 10-1. Alcohol never makes anything better and should be labeled as a poison. Do not share details of your life with just anyone. If opportunity presents itself, they will use it against you. What other people think of you is none of your business. Spend time doing the things you enjoy, either alone or with people who enjoy the same activities. Time is the single most valuable thing you have. Spend it wisely. Focus on the people who like and love you, not on those who do not. Story 11. You can trust most people as far as you can see them. Everything comes to an end, so enjoy the moments. Life can be challenging, and then we all die. It is better to regret the things you did compared to regretting the things you did not do. Dance to your own beat in life. Story 12. The feeling when you are right and you feel you are right is the same as when you are wrong and you feel you are right. Always try to back up your feelings with facts and not opinions or guesses. Story 13. You do not need a lot of people in your life. Less is more, especially when it comes to friends. A handful of truly meaningful relationships will give you so much more joy than many casual acquaintances. Story 14. Forgiveness is about you letting go, not letting the other person off the hook. Boundaries are healthy, normal, and necessary. Just because you love someone does not mean they will love you. Trust takes years to earn and seconds to lose. Stupidity is more common and often more dangerous than malice. Regular exercise has many worthwhile benefits and improves well-being tremendously. No drop of alcohol ever improved anything for me, and every day without it has made things a little better. Story 15. The lies that matter most are the ones you tell yourself. People without forgiveness are forever shackled to the past. Measured against eternity, I am basically already dust, so it is important to spend your time the way you want to with people you would like to. Do not eat fish in the desert. Yes, Las Vegas counts. Story 16. That I can't and don't have to please everyone. I can be a priority too. I'm going to make decisions that disappoint or inconvenience other people. That's unavoidable, but it's also okay. It's life. Story 17. You have to know when enough is enough. It's something I've noticed specifically in the last few years, that as soon as people get something they wanted, they immediately want more. I don't exempt myself from that. I got a promotion at work and then immediately wanted another promotion. I bought a dress from a new brand I really liked and then immediately wanted their whole line of dresses. I walk into a store to buy one book and then immediately want to buy 5. I don't know if it's an American cultural issue or a human nature issue or what it is, but I began to notice that I was incapable of enjoying what I had because I always felt like I should want more. So, I've been working on making some changes. I don't impulse buy things when I'm stressed or unhappy. I try to really focus on the current moment and what I'm doing, so I maximize my enjoyment of what I already have. I look at all products and advertising with a critical eye and ask myself, who benefits if I buy this? Why am I being told I need this? It took me until 30 years old to realize I was making myself unhappy by allowing myself to be turned into this black hole that consumes and consumes and consumes but can never be satisfied. Story 18. Company loyalty is a thing of the past. Looking out for yourself is the only way to get ahead since the Reagan era and the ongoing attack on the working class. Always be looking for a better offer. Companies invest far more to hire than they do to retain employees, so use that to leverage your career. I was loyal to one company for 13 years and another for 7. That is far too long in today's reality and cost me a ridiculous amount of money. Story 19. That mostly everyone you know and love is living their lives by putting themselves first, and you always putting them first isn't going to get them to do the same. This also doesn't mean that they don't care about you or that you are not one of their priorities. It just means that life happens, and they need to thrive in order to help you thrive. Story 20. The lesson of not caring what others think and the lesson of not involving yourself with everyone who crosses your path. Story 21. Stop waiting. Complete the task as soon as it is available, and the dopamine and satisfaction last longer. Story 22. 1. Save and invest. Confidence is the most fragile skill you can ever possess. There is no protection in life. This place is inherently unfair and brutal. Embracing it will teach you a great deal of gratitude. You are insignificant in the grand scheme of things, and that is perfectly acceptable. Story 23. People do not care about your quality of work. They care about how it feels to work with you. That is why people who keep their heads down and focus on productivity in the workplace do not get as far as the lovable big personality individuals who slack off and get away with everything. Story 24. It is easier to gauge people in conversations if you consider the intention of their comments rather than the content alone. I feel like I can understand people and detect insincerity much more easily now. Story 25. What other people think of me is not nearly as important as I once thought it was. I just try to be the best person I can be, and if that falls short in someone else's eyes, I do not spend much time worrying about it. Story 26. Most of the time we say we didn't have time for something. Instead, we should say we didn't make time. Don't waste the time you have. You never know when it will end. And call your mother. Story 27. No. It is a complete sentence that does not require explaining. Exercise, even a little, is really important. Story 28. I am only the main character in my life. I am a supporting character to those close to me, a background character to those around me, and a meaningless stranger to everyone else. Anyone reading will rightly see me as the latter, but I am a father and a husband, and I have had a wonderful life so far. But I am a stranger to you. Story 29. Thinking more carefully before you respond. It took me until I was about 30 to stop snapping back often at people the moment they talk to me in a harsh tone. It takes willpower, but you are not weak just because you do not respond aggressively against everyone for every perceived slight. This is a game changer in relationships. Story 30. That opportunity is only an opportunity if you have already prepared for it. If an opportunity crosses your path and you are not prepared for it, you will lose it. Story 31. Not everyone who comes into your life is meant to be there forever. Nor is everyone supposed to be your friend. Story 32. Life is a game. Some people take it too seriously, while others do not take it seriously enough. Somewhere in between is where you will find it the easiest. Story 33. Be honest about what you know and do not know. People will respect the humble person more than the supposed know-it-all. Story 34. When people show you who they are, believe them. No, you did not misunderstand. Yes, they did actually mean it. Stop making excuses for people and just believe them when they show you who they are. Story 35. You are going to make mistakes. You are going to feel terrible for making those mistakes. Other people will criticize you for it. And there is nothing you can do other than accept it and move forward. Story 36. They were your best friend 10 years ago. They haven't been your best friend for 10 years. Some close relationships just fade with time, and that's okay. Story 37. Being an adult requires being good at communication and having ambition. I still do not have either skill. Story 38. There is no more sense in pretending you do not know something than pretending you do. Knowing things does not automatically make you unbearable and pedantic. Story 39. For years, I couldn't understand what some people meant when they said it with a smile. I later learned that this is how people developed a way to show aggression, displeasure, sarcasm, and various other emotions. It was definitely a learning curve for an introvert who wants nothing to do with humanity, yet I am among them. Story 40. It took me a long time to realize that I didn't understand what love is. When you grow up unloved, you can think that you love someone, but in reality, you are taking their love and not giving anything back. It is hard to admit when you don't understand love, but once you open up to feeling and giving love, your life and the life of the person you didn't love can change for the better, if that makes any sense. Story 41. People will always lie, and having expectations of others is not right. Standards are better set than expectations. Story 42. I cannot keep doing the same thing and expect different results. It is like someone else said, I will keep living the same day over and over until I change something I am used to doing. Story 43. I am only 24, so I do not have the ages part down, but pride and ego make every single part of your life a slippery slope. It is not good to have in any type of relationship. Story 44. That people don't actually think. I believed for years that because people had opinions, they had contemplated all aspects and came to conclusions based on some great analysis. Nonsense. People grab opinions like peanuts. No thought, no coherence. Story 45. Lone wolves do not survive. I spent my entire 20s thinking I did not need anybody, and if I pushed beyond my limits, I would get what I wanted. Not in a bad way either. I wanted to save lives and do it at a speed at which my age would not be a qualifying issue. The cards were always stacked against me. The ones who succeeded were the ones who banded together and had fun doing it. The ones who succeeded were the ones who spoke up and did not treat their career like a report card. Life is not about strength. It is about opportunity. It is about who you know. Story 46. Get rid of things that have a negative effect on your brain, such as pornography and addictions, which can include smoking or video games. Introduce things that have a positive effect on your brain. Basically, try out studying, bodybuilding, cooking, learning new languages, and so on, and stick with the ones that you enjoy. Story 47. Still having to remind myself of this from time to time. This is how the conversation goes inside my head. I have a lot of problems in life. What is the common denominator? Me. I am the common denominator. Maybe not everyone around me is difficult. Maybe it is something I am doing. Now, this is not the solution to everything, but it is where I try to start before I open my mouth and accuse someone falsely of something. Story 48. That it is okay to say no and prioritize your own well-being, and that not everything is as big a deal as it feels in the moment. Story 49. Only people who have proved themselves in a serious crisis and helped you are your real friends. Some people you just know from the workplace, school, bars, etc. are not your friends. They will abandon you when the storm comes. So choose your friends wisely and make sure they are the right people. Even when you are very careful, only time will prove if you made the right choice. This applies to you as well. You can ask yourself how far you will go to help your friends. Will you be there in bad times when there is no fun and only problems to solve? Will you still remain on their side when there is serious stress? Story 50. Mistakes will inevitably happen, and that is okay. Trying to be perfect from the beginning will only keep you stagnant. On that note, forgiving someone else's mistakes is more for yourself and does not necessarily mean you have to go back to being friends, family, or what have you. The same goes for yourself. Take that regret, shame, or grief and process it in a healthy manner. Use it as a reminder to behave differently moving forward. Story 51. No matter how long you work with someone, no matter how open you are, it does not make them your friend, and they will throw you under the bus when it benefits them. Story 52. That dating is overrated. As a kid, I dreamed about having a relationship. Now I know they are not all they are cracked up to be. Story 53. Sometimes what goes wrong between you and someone else is due to them being misguided, and there is nothing you can do about that. It is not always about you. Story 54. Not to make assumptions about people. Who knows what a person's lived experience is when you've just met them? Story 55. Invest in yourself. Do not rot in front of the television when you get home from work. Spend time learning something that will open up new opportunities or bolster your current skills. Put effort into your appearance. Looking like you slept in a hedge is appealing to so few people that it is not worth sticking with. Cut your hair more than 4 times a year. Trim your beard every day or two. Try on a variety of clothes until you know what looks good on you instead of buying whatever kind of fits in the sales. Go to a department store, try a bunch of fragrances, and buy a bottle of the one you like best. People will notice, and it will last you ages, so it is worth the investment. Say no to things your heart is not in, especially if it involves a significant chunk of time or money. Story 56. We have all lived before, and each of us hides a demon that only we are aware of. Love is the only answer. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.